Hello friends, and welcome back to my crafty space. In today's video, I am going to be taking you through the first of my two spreads, or my two hybrid spreads for this month using the Evening Story Kit from Ali Edwards. If you have not already caught my project planning video for the digital kit, that was posted yesterday, and you can find it here in the Ali Edwards tag, or on the feed. You'll be able to see it from yesterday's post. But that will take you through how I came up with a bunch of different ideas for stories to tell and design concepts using the digital product. Today, I am going to take you through the process of putting together one of those ideas, and we're actually going to be splitting this into two separate videos. This video is going to take you through the process using Photoshop Creative Cloud, and then the second video today is going to take you through the exact same process but using Photoshop Elements. That way, no matter what program you're using, there should be a video that will work for you. So before we get into the actual putting together of the spread here on my desk, let's head over to my desktop so I can show you how I created all of these digital elements in order to use them for today's project. Hey friends, and welcome over to my desktop. In this video, I am going to be using Photoshop Creative Cloud to help me create my first hybrid spread using the Evening Story Kit from Ali Edwards. For today's story, we're working on the stuff of Bedtime, and for this one I'm going to be primarily focusing on Isabella. So the first thing I'm going to do is pull up 3 different photos that I took of Isabella's stuff. Now my plan is to add the photo here into a 3x8 page protector. So I have 3 photos that I like. Now some of them need a little bit of edit. Well, they all need to be edited, but some of them have a little bit more blank space here at the bottom that I'll need to fill in. But I kept all 3 of these because I wasn't sure which one was going to have the best orientation. So I'm just going to take care of the cropping portion first. So hitting on the crop tool here, I'm going to crop this down to 3 inches wide by 8 inches tall at 300 pixels per inch. So this is going to let me see what all I can actually see in the photo itself. So this is that photo. This one would be right around here most likely, so we're cutting off a lot of the bunny. And then this one, so it looks like no matter what, I'm going to end up with some stuff cut off. Like I'm not going to be able to get the, you know what I could do? This is a lie. Let's take this back. So I'm thinking not this one, and I'll tell you why. Because I can expand this towards the bottom. And not this one either, because this one is cut off here on the bottom, so that one's not going to work. But this one, where I have the space at the bottom, will. So I'm just going to make this a bit bigger here so we can get all of the pieces in that I want. And then I'm going to hit the crop button. So now we've got a 3x8 where there's some white and then the carpet and then my whiteboard there. So let's go ahead and zoom in on this photo so we can get this edited the way I like it. First, I'm going to grab my eyedropper tool and I'm going to pick up the white-ish color here on my board. And then I'm going to use my paintbrush to paint in the carpeting and mix it with the white of the bottom portion here. Then we're going to actually go ahead and edit this. I'm going to increase the brightness to, I'm paying attention mostly to the items, less than the actual background itself. So right about, maybe a little bit more, right about there. Then I will up the contrast. We will merge this all together and then go ahead and to merge, I just hit Control-Shift-E, and then I'm going to open this in Camera Raw, which is Control-Shift and A, or you can go to Filter and Camera Raw Filter. So now I'm going to take my eyedropper tool here and click on the background, which is going to make this a more true white color. And then it will alter all of the other colors to be more of that true white. And then we can go ahead and increase the clarity, increase the dehaze, and increase the saturation. That's generally how I go about editing these. The final step for me is going to be to grab my dodge tool here, and we're going to go ahead and brighten this up so that they meld together. That is ultimately what I want to happen. so that you don't see as much of the great divide in between them. Now I can see, if I zoom in, that this is going to change some of the coloring on the book. So I'm going to see if I can adjust that here in just a second. Let's get this part done first. Now I'm going to grab the burn tool, which goes the opposite way. It's a darkening tool, and I'm going to see if I can darken up the edges of this book to bring it back to the color that it was originally. Actually, I think that did an okay job. So now let's zoom all the way back out to print size, and this is looking pretty good. I do want to brighten up more of the, whoa, that's not what I meant to do. I do want to brighten up more of the, let's fit on the screen, more of the background next to everything. So let's grab the dodge tool again, but I'm going to reduce the size of it. You can reduce or increase the size by clicking on the bracket buttons on your keyboard for your printer, or for your computer is what I meant to say. So I'm just going to go in here and see if I can brighten up some of the background just to, you know, make it a little bit closer to what we see in the bottom here. And that's probably good. So let's go print size. Print size. Yes, that's how we want it to look. So I'm going to save that as my 3x8 photo. Okay, so we've got the photo done. Now, let's open up a new canvas because this is going to be basically my pretend spread. So I'm going to make a spread. This one, my plan is to have an outside of the page protector side and then a page protector side. So a 6x8 plus a 6.875 by 8.25. So total, I need this to be 12.875 by 8.25. And that's going to cover the entire span of this project. Then what I'm going to do, oh, I just realized I don't have one of the photos I want. But you know what? I bet you I can find it. So give me just a second and I'm going to find a photo of my daughter in her bed. Let's get back to this. So I did go into my photo storage and I found a photo that would work for both of the kids. So I have gone ahead and I've cropped my photo. I'm going to pull it open here for you. This is a picture, I'm going to put it at print size so it's not as grainy. This is a picture of me reading to the kids, which I may keep like this or I may turn it black and white. I'm not totally sure at this point in time, but I cropped it down to 6.875 by 8.25 so that this will sit outside of the page protector. So now that I have my photo here, I'm going to go ahead and select all of it, which is Control A or Command A, copy it, Control C, and then paste it over onto this big canvas that we made earlier, so Control V. And then we will move this over to the side. Again, I'm going to go ahead and make this print size so that you can see that it's not that grainy, because it does give that off. So that's going to be the photo on one side of the page. On the other side of the page, we're going to add in this 3x8 photo. So I'll go ahead, copy that, and paste it over on this as well. And this one is just going to go in the middle right here. Actually, I might put it all the way over to the side. And then I'll do my journaling here in between. So what I want to do next is figure out embellishments that I want to use and then also the journaling card itself. So first let's start with the journaling card. And this is going to be the same card for both projects, but I will be showing you how to do this inside of Elements as well. So I'm going to open up the card that I want to use, which is this 3x4 bedtime card. Then I'm going to create a new canvas that is 3 inches by 8 inches. Let's see if I already have that preset. I do. So 3 inches by 8 inches at 300 pixels per inch and create. Now, this card may not be a true white. So I'm going to go ahead and use my eyedropper tool to pick up this color, and then we'll go to the canvas I just made. We're going to grab the paint bucket tool and we'll paint this because I think it's got a little bit more of a cream tone to it. So I just want to make sure, you know, that it is what I want it to be. Then I'll change my foreground color back to black, and my background color is still that stark white. Okay, so now we're just going to grab this card by selecting all of it, copying it, and pasting it onto my 3x4. And then I'm going to transform it, Control T, which will allow me to move it and use those guidelines to help. I'm going to move it all the way up to the top and then hit the Enter button we'll merge these layers together by selecting Control Shift and the letter E, or you can go up to layer and merge layers, whichever works for you. And then this is essentially going to be my journaling. I will show you how I will add my sticker pieces on here as well, and my text. All right, friends, so now that I have this bedtime story journaling card created, the next thing I want to do is add some sections for my journaling, my text, and then maybe some kind of decoration that can go with it. Now I know in my file I did go ahead and add a couple of these circle elements. So these were in the physical kit. These are the circle cardstock stickers. So if I were to open these up, I could totally, copy them. And I can also print these on sticker paper. Like that could be an option for me. And then, we can move these onto the page if we like. And this might be a good way to designate some of the different things in the photo. So let me just put a couple of these on here. It is going to take up a significant portion, I will say, of this journaling card, but that might be okay. Let me just see what happens if I put all 6 of them on here, and then we'll go from there. I also could have them all be the exact same. That's an option as well. Let's put you on here, and I think that may be all of them. Yep, because we already did that one, and we already did that one. So this would be if I did all 6. Now, let's say I want them to be perfectly evenly distributed. So I've got all 6 on here. I've got the top one exactly where I want the top one to go, and the bottom one exactly where I want the bottom one to go. So what I can do is with my move tool, I can click and drag a box over all 6 of those circles, and that will highlight them down here in the bottom right corner. Then up at the top of our page, you can see that there are these like rectangular boxes in all different kinds of configurations. So these are basically alignment tools. So I can align them all to the left. I can make them all exactly centered with each other. What I want to do is this one that's got a rectangle in the middle of 2 lines. What this means is it's going to evenly distribute them based on where the top one is and the bottom one is. So I'm just going to click on that, and it's going to adjust all of those circles so now they are perfectly evenly distributed between each other. So now that I have that, the next thing I will do is add some text boxes. So I'm going to come over here to my text tool, and I'm just going to draw a box that goes next to this circle. And I might want it to go from the top of the circle to the bottom of the circle. I'll use whatever font I want. I typically use Courier Standard, and then anywhere from 8 to 10 point. For this, I might do 9 just to give me a little bit of extra text. Once I have the text box how I like it, I'm not going to worry about what I'm going to add in there yet. I'll go to my Move tool, and I'm going to copy that box and paste it, and then we can do the same thing. So I'm going to have my guidelines pop up to show me that they are in line with each other and in line with the circles. That one is good. So I'm just going to do that with all of these boxes. It's just a trick of trying to get them all here aligned with those guidelines. And there we go. 2 more. Now what I'm considering here as I am doing this is whether I want these to all be different circles, or if I might consider making them all the blue Starry Night circles. That seems kind of cool too. Why are we not? Okay, you're good. We'll just do that so it's in the middle. It's good enough. So let's grab this circle, this Starry Night circle, and I'm going to copy it. And then what would happen? What would happen if I put it on top of these other ones, right? What would this look like if all of them were Starry Night? Because then I'm thinking I could grab my circle, or my, my alphabet stickers or my number stickers, and I could add 1 through 6 on top of these, maybe with white, because white would show up pretty well, I think, on top of this blue. And then, let's make sure this is on top of everything else. Whoops, I didn't do that. And then on the photo, I could use maybe black number stickers to number the same thing. So then you would know 1 goes to 1 and 2 goes to 2. I actually really like the way this looks. So this is what I'm going to do, is right here. So for now, let's leave this here as it is, because I want to make one other thing before we move on. So here I can add like, like a 1, or it could even go on top of the item, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, something like that. So we've got that. We've got the photo. We can leave it. Okay, so let's do 2 other things. Another thing I'm thinking about, I didn't mean to do that. Another thing I'm thinking about for this photo is potentially putting this good night piece at the bottom. So I'm going to open that up, copy it, and paste it over here onto the photo. Now what I can do, since this is, I'm going to transform it so I can get it directly in the middle. Since there's a lot of space here at the bottom and it doesn't fill up the whole page, I can make this bigger. And that, would be totally fine if I print sized this, it's pretty fine right there. So I kind of like that. And then maybe if I've got that, maybe I also would consider, like, what would happen if I took this moon looking one, and what if I layered it behind that goodnight piece? Like, what if, it came down here and it was kind of like this. So it looks almost like a moon on there, like a moon is coming up over the earth. I don't know, that's kind of cool. Maybe it helps to fill in some space. But maybe it's a little unnecessary. I'm going to think about it. Actually, I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to do good night because I think that that's kind of nice. And what I could do is see if there is a stamp set. This is a good idea. I'll see if there is a stamp sentiment on the story stamp that I could potentially stamp in an arc around the good night phrase to help fill in some more of that white space. I think that could work out really nicely. So let's go with that. Okay, so for now I'm going to close out of these other pieces. Now the next thing I want to do is not that. I want to open, I'm actually going to reopen this photo and I'll show you why here in just a second. Let's get it down to print size. And I also want to open up this card, or this sentiment that says sweet dreams. So this was a stamp sentiment that I added into my folder. I'm going to copy the whole thing and then I'm going to paste it over here onto my photo. And actually, delete that. Let's go back because I actually want to separate these words. So let me show you how I would separate them. I'm going to come up here to this marquee tool and I'm going to draw a box around the word sweet. And then we'll right click and I'm actually going to layer via copy. So if I hide my original layer down here, layer 1, you just unclick on the I, then I'm left with the word sweet, except I'm going to take my eraser and get rid of this little piece right here. So there is the word sweet. So then let's put that back down and open up the whole sweet dreams. If we make sure that we are, looking again at only sweet dreams, the layer 1, have it selected, then we can grab the eraser and let's just erase the word sweet. So then we'll have sweet as one file or one layer and dreams as the second layer. There we go. So now I can show them both and now they're separated from each other. So let's grab the word sweet and we're going to copy that one first and paste it so then we can see where this is going to end up. And then we can grab the word dreams and do the same thing. Bring that over here and see where that's going to end up. So what I like about this, actually, is it fits on there pretty well. It's huge, which I kind of like. And there's also room for, like, let's say I wanted this yellow moon, right? Let's copy it, and then let's put it here on the photo. It's actually really small. So if I make this bigger, is it going to make it too pixelated? Or will it be okay? It might be okay, actually. So I could do sweet dreams with the moon, or I guess I could also open up this one that's a little bit more, it's supposed to look gold, which is why it has that sheen to it. So I could also use this one instead. And that would be fine. but I think I'm going to go with the yellow just because I think it'll print a little bit better. And then I can cut with a small white border around the outside of it. So that one I'm thinking also to do on sticker paper. And then I might be able to stamp something on top of it. Like I had put in here originally the story of this evening as a subtitle. So that could potentially be something that I put here, you know, and then it could also maybe be here as well to help tie everything together. So those are going to be my pieces. So let me show you now that we have everything created, what do I actually do with it? How do I get it printed off? So first what I want to do is create a canvas. I print on a wide format printer, but I typically use the 8.5 by 11 inch photo paper and cardstock. So I'm going to open up an 8.5 by 11 page here. And this is where I will put all of my photos. So we'll get that this photo of me and the kids in the bed, and we'll put that one on here. I'm going to transform it and turn it sideways to give me a little bit more room on the page itself. So we'll go there. And then I also would like to print this photo. So we're going to do the same thing, grab the background, copy it, and then we'll paste it. I'm going to, again, transform it, turn it on the side. And I always line these up. Well, I guess this one works because there's an edge, there's a hard edge that you can see here. So we'll add both of these onto the page, and these I'm going to print on my glossy 8.5 by 11 inch Canon photo paper. So then let's open up another 8.5 by 11 page. This one is going to be for all of my journaling. So, or anything that I can print on just plain white cardstock. So an example might be like this piece. I would potentially do, actually this piece I might do on, I'm debating if I want to do it on regular paper. You know, I might do this on matte photo paper just to get the best coloring, and same maybe with these. And maybe same, so maybe all of this will go on white matte photo paper, which is fine. And in that case, I might just leave these on here. Or, you know, I kind of like the idea of them being propped up, of them having a little bit more dimension on them. So let's make them dimensional. Let's just do it. So I'm going to grab these and copy them. And then let's come over here and we're going to paste them and move it into an easier spot to reach. These I think I can punch out with a 1-inch circle punch. So that will be those. And then this moon, we'll do the same thing. So we'll copy the moon and paste the moon. And that can print off on this page. What else? Sweet Dreams. My plan for Sweet Dreams is to create a cut file with it and cut it out on my silhouette. So for this one, I'm just going to grab a 6x4 canvas just because it'll be easier to work with it that way. Let's go back to this page over here, and I'm just going to go into the My Layers panel, and I want to select the word Sweet and the word Dreams. I will copy those and paste them onto this page. What I might need to do is adjust things just slightly, and I can always position them in a different way later. But we're going to position them so they're both on here, and then I'm going to save this file as a Sweet Dreams PNG. So then I need to come down into my file type and change this to a PNG. And that's going to be important for converting it in Silhouette to a cut file. So that will be that. And then no, I don't need to save the rest of it. So that's everything on this page. So what I can do is just copy all of it, including the background. So let's copy all of this. Let's go back to our original page here, and it did not copy all of it. So let's do that again. We're going to go back to the photo. Let's start at layer 2. We're going all the way to the background, copy all of the layers. I just must not have had them all selected. Come back over here and paste them all. There we go. So now we can see what this side looks like, or will look like. For this Sweet Dreams page here, what I'm thinking I'll do is cut this out of either some kind of like Starry Night type of pattern, maybe from my pattern stash, or maybe just like a solid blue, or maybe, I'm not totally sure yet, but I'm going to figure that out here in a second before I go ahead and cut that. And then this good night is another one that I will add to the page over here. This might work better as a 3x4 or a 4x6 as well. Okay, so that's going to be this page done. And we have everything from here. No. So we're going to take these circles, highlight them all, and delete them off for now. Then I would fill in my journaling and then copy all of this and then paste it. You know, let me go ahead and fill in my journaling and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, friends, so here I've got my journaling all filled in and ready to go for my page. So the next thing that I'm going to do is make sure that I save this before I do anything else. So I did go ahead and I just hit the save button and I saved it as my journaling page as a PSD file, so a Photoshop file. And then I also saved it as a JPEG just so I could have an idea of what this is supposed to look like, because when I print this off, it's going to be printed in a couple of different pieces. So I did go ahead and pull up the JPEG version so I can copy it. So select it all and copy it, and then I can go back to that original page and paste it in there. And I just wanted to do that so I could see the way that this page is going to flow. And I'm actually going to grab this goodnight and put it on here as well, just so we can see like what is this going to look like when we get it all done. So let me make sure that we've got this exactly where it's supposed to go. There we go. I think I have this slightly off. Is this one off? Something is slightly off. Oh, yeah, I think it was that. Okay, and then we can move this into the center of this page. Okay, so this is essentially what this is going to look like when we're done. So we're going to have the good night there printed off. We're going to have all of those little circles printed off. I will add some puffy stickers, puffy number stickers to the items on the photo, as well as the circles on the journaling page. And then we'll cut out Sweet Dreams as a cut file and then print out the moon to add on there as well. So the last thing I need to show you for this spread, well, first of all, let's go back to my journaling page and actually grab the journaling page. So all of the journaling plus the background, I need to copy that and I need to add it to my printout page. So let's put it here. Let's turn it sideways, which I just do by hitting the transform button, so the Control T, and then coming up to this angle and making it a 90-degree angle. We'll add that to the bottom just to make it a little bit easier for me to see those cut lines. And then this is looking pretty good. I actually might move some of these other pieces so that I have a wider area to use later for maybe a 4x6 section. Okay, so this I'm going to print out on matte photo paper because I want it to be really super vibrant with the colors. And then this one is the glossy photo paper. We can go ahead and get out of that, and we can get out of this, which will just say no to the JPEG, but let's go ahead and save this as a PSD so that we have the right size of the good night there. I will close out of that. And then I'm going to save my original spread. This one I would put Isabella and then maybe stuff of bedtime spread. And I'll save it as a PNG so I can move all the pieces. And I'm also going to save it as a JPEG so I can pull it up and remember what it is that I had planned to do for this page. The last thing that I need to do, aside from print these pieces out, is to create my cut file. So I'm going to open up my Silhouette Studio software here on my computer, which is going to take just a second here to boot up. And then what we're going to do is we'll open up that 4x6 card that we made with the Sweet Dreams. That is not what I meant to do. With the Sweet Dreams sentiment on it. So let's open. This is another project coming later. Stuff of Bedtime and Sweet Dreams. Okay, so here we've got the Sweet Dreams file opened up. So you can see now that it is exactly sized to the same, or it is the same size as what I had originally decided on in Photoshop. So from here, I need to turn this into a cut file. What I'm going to do is come over to the right panel and I'm going to click on this button. It's called the trace tool and it looks kind of like a butterfly. Then we're going to select trace area. So we're going to click on this button and then click and drag a box over the top of the word. It will light it up yellow, which means, well, anything that's yellow is what it is selecting to trace around. And then I'm going to click on this trace button. So there are two ways that you can trace. One is to only trace the outer edge, and one is to trace the outer and the inner edges. If I did only the outer, then all of these little pieces, like the E, the middle of the E, the middle of the A, the middle of the D, all of that would not be traced. By doing the outside or the outer and the inner edge, it's going to get all of those pieces. So we're going to hit trace, and then I can come back over here and click on my sentiment again. Now you can see if I move it apart, we've got the original sentiment, and then we've got the cut file. So the original sentiment, I'm going to go ahead and delete. I don't need it. And then this one, I'm going to save as, we'll save it to my hard drive. We're going to save this as a Sweet Dreams title cut file. And then it'll be super easy to just pop it open and get it cut. So now this I would go ahead and send over to my silhouette to cut out. I'm not sure. I'll have to see what color I want to use. And then my other two pieces I will go ahead and print. Once I have that done, I'll meet you back over at the craft table, and then we'll get the physical portion of this project done together. All right, so now we're back over here at my craft table, and I am going to get you guys on fast forward here, but before I do, I just want to show you that what I'm planning to do with the circles here and this half circle and the moon is to actually turn them into chipboard pieces. So to do that, I have a piece of 12 by 12. I don't remember the thickness of this, but I'll link it down below. This is chipboard. And what I'm planning to do is to just go ahead and tape this down directly onto this piece of chipboard. So I might actually kind of roughly cut out some of these pieces just so I'm not wasting any space here. And then we'll go ahead and glue them down here, and then I'm going to take them to the side in order to cut them out. So I'm just going to fussy cut them out with a little bit of a white border around all of the pieces. So that's going to be my first step, and then we'll come back after I get that completed, and we'll finish assembling the rest of this on fast forward. And then once we have that done, I will slow back down in order to finish out our video for today. All right, so before heading off screen here, I am just going to go ahead and add some adhesive onto the back of these pieces here and stick them down onto my chipboard, and then I will cut them off of here, take them off screen, and fussy cut them all out with a little bit of a white border around each of the individual pieces. Now, I don't remember if I've already said this or not, so if I have, I'm sorry, but if I haven't, I just wanted to mention that I did print all of these pieces on matte photo paper, so matte white photo paper, which I always highly recommend for digital elements because it does come out a lot more saturated and closer in color to what the digital kit actually looks like. So here you can see that I've got all those pieces fully cut out. I did go ahead and hole punch my photo there. I'm going to set that to the side while I work on the rest of the spread. So I'm taking the half circle piece there that says goodnight, adding adhesive to it and putting it at the bottom of my flat lay photo, just like we did digitally. And then I will later find my evening story stamp and then take a sentiment to stamp around the outside of that piece. And then for these little pieces or these little circles that are going to serve as my bullet points, I am just doing the exact same thing, adding some adhesive and then sticking them on there in the sections where I want them to go. One of the things that I forgot to do here before I got started and before I turned the camera on was to actually cut out my Sweet Dreams title on my silhouette. So I will go to the side here in a little bit to take care of that. And I actually decide to cut it out of two different pattern papers. Well, one pattern paper that's like a Starry Night type of paper from Vicki Boutin. It's an older one, so I don't think it's available anymore. And then the other one's just a plain white cardstock that I can back the Starry Night with, which gives it a little bit of pop off the page. Before I do that, I did go into my stash to grab some stickers here, some number stickers, and I decided to use white because I knew that they would pop off of those circles, the galaxy looking circles, really well, and you would most likely be able to see them on all the different spots on the photo as well. So I'm using those to designate, this journaling goes to this item. As for items here, the things that I decided to take pictures of are my daughter. So this is Isabella's spread. I have her stuffed animals that she's currently sleeping with. I've also got her fuzzy blanket. That is like her blanket that she sleeps with. She refuses to sleep under normal covers, so it's always the fuzzy blanket. I've got her toothbrush there just to designate that is part of her bedtime routine. I've got one of the books that we've been reading currently. I've got her nightlight, which is a little bit hard to see on the screen here, but easier to see in real life when you look at it. And then I've also got some of her pajamas that I had just folded up and set next to it. So 6 different things that are bedtime must-haves for her to go to sleep at night. So now that I have all of that labeled, next I'm going to go off screen and work on getting those pieces, the title pieces, cut out. While the silhouette is over there doing its thing, I came back to grab my stamp set here, and I found one of these long, skinny sentiments that just says the story of this night. So I curved it and then stuck it down onto my stamp block there, so I can round it, or I can stamp it around that half circle. I will also grab a piece of scratch paper so that I don't make a mess with the extra ink on there. And then we'll go ahead and stamp around. So I think I do this 3 times in order to get all the way around the outside of it. And then I really actually love the way that frames it and, fills in a little bit more of that white space there at the bottom. I think it looks really, really good that way. So we'll put away the ink there. Stamping on photos like that, I am using my Scrapbook.com premium dye ink in black. It stamps great on photos. For me, I'm using glossy photo paper that I print at home on. So that type of paper is, better suited for soaking up ink in that way. But it just, I love that particular black ink. Okay, so now working on the title here, I've got where you can see I've cut out the sweet and the dreams out of both the star pattern and the white. So at first when I just did it on the star pattern and put it on the page, you could see it, but it kind of blended in a little bit too much with the background. So that's when I decided to cut it out of white as well, and then to glue those pieces together just barely offset. Then when I put it on the spread here in just a second, you'll see that it actually does pop it off of the picture very well. I really, really like the way that this title turns out. I think it is so cool. If you do not have any starry type paper on hand, you can also totally use the 3x4 journaling card and just blow it up, the digital version, and use that instead. Print that off, and then you can cut this title out of that paper as well. The last thing here is just adding the little moon embellishment up in the corner, and then we'll call this spread done. All right, friends, that completes this spread for today. Love the way that this one turned out, and having these titles layered on top of each other really helped to pop that off the photo. So if you're looking to do something similar, I definitely recommend doing something like that where you cut it out of a plain cardstock and then cut it out of your top, whatever pattern or color you were going to have. Layer them a little bit so that you get that shadowing that helps it to come off of the photo. All right, well, I hope that you enjoyed seeing this process come together. I will have the exact same layout that I am doing in the Photoshop Elements, and then, but it will be for Jonah instead of being for Izzy. So this portion will be different, and then this side of this page will be exactly the same. So one will go into Izzy's story album, and one will go into Jonah's story album. And then tomorrow I will have one more process video for you guys, again, split split into two videos, one for Photoshop Creative Cloud and one for Photoshop Elements, to give you a little bit of tutorials on how to do the same spread in those two different programs. Until then, I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will catch you all in tomorrow's video. Bye, friends.